And we're back. Welcome to the Angry Nutrition Guy podcast. I am your host, nutritionist Coach Jordan, and I hope everyone had an amazing holiday weekend. It was Memorial Weekend. It is now Tuesday, the 27th. I feel like Memorial Weekend is this unofficial official start to summer, and then you realize that there's still a few days left in May. We're not even in June yet. And I think officially summer starts, June 21st. But I'm excited about the warm weather. I love the vitamin D. I love the sunshine. I love the warm weather. We got really good weather yesterday for the Memorial Day itself. For the weekend, it was Saturday, Sunday. It was a little bit dicey in Philly, suburbs. It was a little bit cold, but we had some sunshine and we cannot complain. So I hope everyone had a great holiday weekend spent with friends and family and barbecue, which we did as well, and all that good stuff. And I wanted to talk about in this episode today, I want to talk about a few things, but number one, what I want to talk about is how do you eat intuitively when you have goals? How do you eat intuitively when you have goals? Those goals could include losing fat, while still being able to be social, have sweet treats every night like we do, like I do, and clients here do. So what are some core principles of the holiday weekend? Being able to have the barbecue, have a couple drinks, cocktails. I had a couple skinny margaritas and a few, what are they called? Statesides over the course of 3 or 4 days. How do we do that while being the healthiest version of ourselves at the same time? And there's going to be some core principles that we like to call nutrition autoregulation. So how do we do nutrition autoregulation so that we can really discover these internal cues that drive decisions? So core principles of nutrition autoregulation, and if you think about autoregulation as a process of adjusting your food intake and choices based on internal signals and outcomes rather than following a rigid plan. So it's essentially listening to your body and responding to its real-time feedback to guide how, what, and how much you eat. So I want you to think of it like auto-tuning your nutrition day by day, which is a practice and takes time based on energy, hunger, recovery, and fat loss goals, which a lot of you guys listening do have. So this is easier said than done. It's a practice and it's a skill, and we teach you this when you come into our container. So internal cues that drive decisions. So we have things like hunger and satiety, energy levels, cravings, performance, like this goes with working out, sleep and recovery. So instead of eating meal 3 at 2 p.m. because it's on the plan, we never put times on our meal plans when we coach people. We teach you how to eat and become a normal eater. It's crazy. We are not going to, can you imagine? Oh, it's lunch at 12 noon. What if you're on the West Coast? What if you work a night shift? What if you're a nurse or physician, which we coach a lot of? What if you're hungry at 11:30? What if you're hungry at 2:30? The whole point is getting you in tune with your hunger and fullness cues, not some external, it's 2 o'clock. My meal plan says it's 2 o'clock. So instead of eating meal 3 or lunch at 2 p.m. or noon because it's on the plan to eat then, you eat when you're truly hungry and you adjust based on how you feel. That's really important. So that's number one. Number two is we're going to adapt to the body's daily energy needs. So your body doesn't need the exact same calories and macros every day. For example, heavy workout day might have a little more carbs and potentially a little more protein. Sedentary rest day, I might bring it down a bit. Poor sleep or high stress, I might modify the carb-fat ratio to support hormone balance. So this approach respects day-to-day variability in your metabolism and demand. So we want to adapt to our body's needs. So number one is internal cues drive decisions. Number two is adapt to your body's daily needs. And number three, tracking plus intuition equals balance. So most successful autoregulators is what we want to get to. We start with what? We have some structure. We have a meal plan with foods you love, right? Understanding your calories, macros, all that good stuff. Learning how foods affect you. Transitioning eventually to a more flexible, responsive approach over time. So you're still staying within fat loss or maintenance goals, just more with personal control and biofeedback awareness. So in practice, how do we teach clients, and how do you listening, if you're not a client, how do you auto-regulate nutrition practically? So I'm going to give you some signals, and then I'm going to give you tangible what to do's. Okay, so we're going to have signals, like the bat signal, and then what to do. So first things first, we're going to have signal, and you might want to write this down or put it on a sticky note. I feel like every episode I talk about a sticky note. I'm a child of the 90s, guys, okay? We did sticky notes. We did not have fancy pants, internet. I'm 38, all right? So post-it note section in your phone. You do a voice recording, but we're going to auto-regulate nutrition practically. So here's the signal and then what to do. I'm going to give you 6. All right, number 1. Signal, low energy, what to do? Increase carbs. Yes, increase carbs. And or meal timing. So that can mean, I don't really eat all day, and then I have this low 3, 4 p.m. energy slump. Well, maybe carbs are low, you don't have enough fiber, protein's low as well. You're waiting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours until you have your first meal. Never a good thing. So eat on that 2 to 4 hour clip. So meal timing, increase meal frequency, get a nice balance of lean protein, fibers, carbohydrates, and some healthy fats in there, but not too much, but in the right balance. So low energy, increase food, potentially, and meal timing appropriate. Number 2, signal poor sleep. I might want to optimize, because usually when you have poor sleep, the next day you're really hungry, right? You ever wake up and you're like, it's going to be a hungry day? It happens. So on that day, when you have poor sleep and you know that, we have a 2.5-year-old, but there was a time, first 6 months, right? We were broken sleep every 2 hours. Kristen's doing the thing. I'm trying to help out the best I can. Sleep was lower. Cravings were higher. So what do? Well, we can up the volume, up your berry intake. A pound of strawberries, watermelon. We're getting into that season. A pound of watermelon is only 100 calories. Don't worry about the sugar. It's 92% water, hence the name watermelon. It's mostly water. And it's a red fruit, so it has lycopene. So red fruits and veggies are good for the heart, just like your heart is red. So volumize. If you like Greek yogurt or cottage cheese, go for some of that, non-fat, because it has casein, which is a slower release of amino acids, which will keep you fuller for longer, especially after a poor night's sleep. So that's a good option. Now, another signal, not hungry. Okay, I could reduce portion size, eat lighter, skip a snack or two, and have on that day, maybe 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner versus 2 meals and a snack or 2. Do that. 4, signal. Great workout. I want a really good recovery. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm eating enough throughout the day, supporting my training, making sure I definitely get protein after my workout to repair and recover the tissue. I want to make sure I have carbs pre-workout to support my training, because carbs are the preferred source of fuel for training and even for our brain. Next signal, 5, mental fog, mental fatigue, there's a malaise, right? You want to make sure your omega-3 fats are good. Think salmon, nuts, seeds, avocado in the right dose, and or just more nutrient-dense meals overall. Mental fog, adding in omega-3s and antioxidants. Think about blueberries. So again, back to the color of something that aligns with a body part. We talked about watermelon, red, heart. Blueberries, blue, purple. What's the color of your brain? Blue, purple. That's why blueberries are a powerhouse for the brain. Will help you get out of that fog. And number 6, this is common, what we get coming in to the program. Constant cravings for sugar, high fat, high sugar, high salt, all that stuff. Adding more protein, more fiber. Check for under eating at other parts of the day to get those cravings out of the way. And 2 really important things. Number 1 is you have to like what you eat. You have to love what you eat. And 2, you can't be hungry all the time. That's what we're big on. Not being hungry and liking what you eat. If those things happen, like we just had a woman, it's her first week, she's down over 5 pounds. She's a physician and came to us. We coached another one of her physician friends. And she's like, this science is great and all, but the meals are amazing and I'm not hungry. And they don't take long to make. And my husband and my kids are eating the food. When that happens, it's game over. Everything else is cherry on top. Okay, so what is not autoregulatory eating? What is it not? So it's not impulsive eating. It's not just, eating a bunch of crap all the time because you feel like you should. That's impulsive eating. We want to be proactive, not reactive. It's not ignoring structure entirely. We don't want to just be willy-nilly about it. We want to have some flexible structure. It's not assuming that your hunger cues are perfectly accurate. They're often not at first, especially if you've had emotional eating patterns, if you've had a lifetime of fad dieting or child Weight Watchers, which I've done as a kid. So who is this good for? We're transitioning from just understanding our calories and macros to more intuitiveness. People who are active with variable training days, women in perimenopause and menopause managing hormone fluctuations, and of course, most importantly, long-term sustainability. So nutrition autoregulation is like driving a car with a manual gearbox. So when you first learn how to drive or manage nutrition, you rely on certain rules for yourself, right? Shift gears at exactly 25 miles an hour. Always follow the map. Don't deviate. But there's not a ton of flexibility there. Got to have that sometimes at the beginning as you learn, but quickly within a few days or a week, as you start to gain experience, you start to feel when the engine needs a gear change, adjust your speed for traffic or weather, take shortcuts when you know a better route, right? Slow down or speed up based on conditions, not like just strange rules. That's autoregulation in action. You're still going towards your goal, fat loss, performance, health, but you're adjusting in real time based on feedback. You become the driver, not just a passenger following GPS instructions. It's really key. And on that note, like when you're thinking about how to navigate these autoregulatory behavior changes, there's something that you want to be paying attention to, and they are delayed triggers. I was having a conversation with a client earlier about this very thing of what we know what triggers are, right? I had a cupcake and then I had the entire plate of cupcakes and then I ordered a pizza, right? That's a trigger, like in the moment. Or I had a fight with my boss and I went to crumble cookie and ate a cookie and ate my feelings. We've all been there. That's a trigger in the moment. What are delayed triggers? So they're a little bit more sneaky. We work through that here. So a delayed trigger, and this is where you want to be internal and really focus on autoregulatory eating to work through this. Delayed triggers is something that you do or don't do today that affects you hours, days, or even weeks later. It's like planting a seed and the result, positive or negative, grows over time, often silently. So I'm going to give you some common examples of delayed triggers, a trigger and then delayed impact. You might want to write some of these down. Food-related delayed triggers. So a trigger could be eating too little protein, which a lot of you listening do. You think you're eating enough protein. Trust me, you're not. You're eating about half the amount you should be, guaranteed. That's what happens when people come in. They're eating, their protein is too low, their fat is too high, and their portions are wonky. We fix that off the gate, and you see success. Trigger, eating too little protein, delayed impact, increased hunger or cravings 1 to 2 days later. We all know that can happen. You've experienced that. Trigger, poor sleep, delayed impact, water retention the next morning. Trigger, weekend overeating. Delayed impact, fat gain or water bloat shows up midweek. Trigger, BLTs, bites, licks, tastes, and even sips. Maybe no visible impact daily, but scale stalls over 2 weeks. Trigger, constantly skipping meals, metabolic slowdown or rebound overeating later. We know that can be a thing with food. Trigger, delayed impact. Then you have the lifestyle-based delayed trigger. Trigger, poor sleep, increased cortisol, water retention. Trigger, never strength training at all. Delayed impact, slower metabolism weeks later. Chronic stress is a trigger. Hormonal disruption, stubborn belly fat weeks or months later. Trigger, sitting all day, blood sugar dysregulation, weight gain over time. So why this matters for health and fat loss is people often think, I only had one cookie, why am I gaining weight? That trigger, the cookie was not a problem. Enjoy the cookie. I mean, I like to, if I, special cookie, enjoy it. Memories over macros, enjoy it and move on. Or take that cookie, break it up into your yogurt and fruit, put some fat-free Ready Whip on that bad boy, go to town, make a macro-friendly, healthy junk bowl. But that cookie might be a tipping point after a week of small delayed triggers, like Poor sleep, overeating on the weekend, high stress. That's why fat gain and plateaus often feel sudden, but they've been building silently. So how do we handle delayed triggers? Well, you track more than just food, sleep, mood, stress, cravings, digestion, and you watch for patterns over time, not just day to day. Look at the 7-day average, weight, macros, calories. Use reflection journaling. Ask yourself, what did I do 1 to 3 days before this stall craving binge? What did I do 1 to 3 days before this stall craving or binge? Often the trigger is behind you. So when we are developing and identifying these patterns between your behaviors and your body's delayed response, like cravings, fatigue, water retention, or stalls, we can't change what we don't notice. So whether you have a journal, a spreadsheet, or an app like Notion or Excel, Notion is really good and I believe it's free. You basically want to have a date of when it happened, your sleep hours, stress 1 to 10, exercise type and time, food notes, BLTs, not bacon, lettuce, and tomato, bites, licks, and taste, water intake, mood, and next day effect. So I'll give you an example. Today, what's today? 27th of May, Tuesday. All right, so I'll make this up. Sleep, hours and quality. 6 hours, woke up tired. Stress 1 to 10, 8. Exercise type and time, 30-minute walk. Food notes, late night children's cereal, skip protein. BLTs, yes. Water intake, 30 ounces. That's not enough, by the way. Mood, irritable. Next day effect, hungry AM, bloated. I'll give you one more. Sleep 8 hours, good. Stress 1 to 10, 4. Exercise type, strength training, 30 minutes. Food notes, higher protein, fiber, and healthy fats. BLTs, no. Water intake, 100 ounces. Mood, focused. Next day effect, energy up, cravings down. You see how sometimes correlation is causation? So by having this delayed trigger tracker template, it can be really helpful. If you want that template, you can DM me on Instagram. If you don't know my Instagram by now, shame on you. Just kidding. It is the Angry Nutrition Guy, all one word. I will send you our delayed trigger tracker template because you cannot change what you don't notice. So DM me on Instagram, the word tracker, or on Facebook, Jordan, what is my Facebook name? Jordan Angry Nutrition Tracker, and I will send it over to you. You want to have these details, right? Sleep, stress, exercise, food notes, BLTs, water intake, mood, next day effects. Then you track it for 7 to 14 days and you look for delayed patterns. Example, every time I get less than 6 hours of sleep, I'm hungrier 2 days later. Okay. Use this to adjust habits, not just food, but lifestyle levers like sleep, stress, and hydration. And so that's like why we crave those like sugary sweet things sometimes. And so especially a lot of women that I coach, men too, but women I coach during perimenopause and menopause, guys, it's about finding balance, not restriction. And so especially with like wanting these treats, when you auto-regulate, you can have them every day. We build them into your plan, not around it. Like not impulsively, but wiggle room every day, whether it's a glass of wine or some ice cream, whatever it is. And so you know what your triggers are. We don't have them, or we have them in small amounts, or we keep a single serve portion at home. Don't store trigger foods in bulk. And then you time them strategically, like after a protein-rich meal to slow blood sugar spike, not eating them on an empty stomach or late at night, which may disrupt sleep, but have a treat routine or a daily mini treat. This removes the emotional urgency around them. And then you can upgrade your sweets. Like instead of Ben & Jerry's, maybe it's a Yasso bar. But sometimes the mom and pop ice cream shop is okay in moderation. Maybe you're so devoid on like you haven't had fruit since 1982 because you think it's a problem. Like add some freaking fruit in there. Go to town on that. I love me some Greek yogurt, pinch of stevia, berries, and those like dark chocolate bark thins, like a little bit of those, like 28 grams worth. I don't weigh out food these days. I've done 20 years, but do that. Add versus subtract. Don't earn or punish treats. It's not, I ate so bad I have to do extra cardio. It's like, I planned this. It fits my goals. I enjoyed it and moved on. That is a healthy mindset and it protects your relationship with food. So we do want to learn how to be intuitive, but we have to know the rules of the game so that we can auto-regulate like a champion. And that's what we want to do. So I want to thank you guys for taking some time out of your day to listen to the podcast. You could have been doing anything in the entire world, but you decided to spend a few minutes with me. It's pretty awesome. If you liked it, please give it a review, share it with folks who need it, and I will catch you guys in the next episode. Go follow your dreams. Peace.